All right, all you snowboarders of the internet, we're here, we're live, we're taking your questions. Get them in the chat box wherever they appear in your device or whatever you're on. I'm going to try to answer them. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. Top prize is a t-shirt. Yeah, we'll give a t-shirt away this week. But I got some giveaways coming up starting next month. So, anyways, we got that going on. Hopefully, you guys caught the pant video this morning. It's 50 plus minutes of pure destruction. Hopefully, you enjoyed that. If you didn't, and 50 minutes is too long for you to watch, I'll be dropping the segments, I think every Saturday or Sunday here on out, or maybe every Saturday and Sunday. I don't know. Until they're done. Then I got to start figuring out what the next gear deconstruction video is going to be. Possibly thinking gloves or beginner package deals like board, boot, and binding all in one. So I got to see what the budget holds. So yeah. Anyways, okay. So let's get those questions in. I'm going to try to answer them. We'll go from there. Get that taken care of in there. Hopefully, we get some good questions this week. But yeah, let's see. Okay, Fruit Poop Loops. Any difference between the Jones Carbon flagship they made years ago versus the Ultra flagship? Yeah, the Ultra flagship has a completely different construction from the Carbon flagship. The Carbon flagship was like not environmentally friendly due to the amount of carbon and shit in there. It has different epoxy in it, way more carbon. The core construction is different. I think the only things that are the same are the side cut and the camber profile. I mean, they were even built in a different factory, so got that going on there. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, that Jones stuff. Whew. Some interesting stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, what else we got here? All right, we got Dragos Sis. Just finished watching the pants video. Really good info. Was wondering what your opinion on L1 outerwear is. They are not so popular in Europe, at least Sweden. I have ridden L1 outerwear for 16 years. I've ridden it as long as I've lived in Summit County. It's my favorite outerwear brand. I get stuff from them every year. It lasts superbly. I mean, I just retired a jacket, I think that was like 6-7 years old this year, just because it had finally hit that point. But I get their basic black tailored fit pant every other year, so I get like about 2 years out of them. I love their stuff. And you've got the crazy high-end technical stuff all the way down to your street pieces that aren't anything aren't super waterproof. They're like 5.5 and stuff like that. I've never had a problem. I will say this: their stuff fits tight right out the bag or like right off the rack when you try it on. It will, after about 15 days of use, the seams kind of release a little bit. They're not as tight, and so they loosen up a little bit. So just be aware of that. But yeah, there's stuff. I mean, I've got a puffy jacket of theirs that I've been wearing for 10 years now. Just because it's that good. Yeah, L1 stuff is superb. And actually, I've got a video. I'm working on a video. I'll probably film it tomorrow. But I'm going to go through like what your gear looks like after 100 plus day season. So far I filmed the boots. I've got the bindings out. I was getting ready to do that. Then I'm going to do the outerwear, boards, and then accessories. So you guys can kind of see what your stuff would look like if you rode 100 days every season, if not more. But my outerwear, which is all L1, will be definitely in that video series. All right, we got a bunch of super chats here. First up from our moderator, Billy Ray Valentine. Smash like, RIP, L Pants Ripper Adventure, rest in peace. I miss Breck plus Castaways Cove. Where's Baroness? Vlogger sucks. Should I buy another board? No, you. Baroness is asleep in her crate. She's going through a growth spurt. I can tell because she's pooping way more than normal. She pooped like 5 times before 11 a.m. today. So she's doing that. She's getting bigger. She's getting a little heavier. She's about 50 pounds now. Should you buy another board? Only if you click the link. Yeah. So there we go. Remember to use your vegan vape juice when you vape. All right. Then we got Marco Figueroa. Appreciate the deconstruction video. Need more like it. Yeah, I think that's a series that's going to grow. Kind of see that coming that way. Pray to the altar of snowboarding. Drew Weisner, after reading the comments in the top 5 this week, had me wondering, are the boards being made for border cross competition not great products compared to, say, the Nidecker factory? Well, the Nidecker factory is a little questionable. SWS actually makes the better stuff for them out of there. And if they make it out of their Tunisia factory, a little iffy. But on some stuff. But the way you got to look at it is like border cross boards are so specific. Most of those people are trying to get them tailor made to them. But I mean, if you're looking at how bad I just shit on Donic, fuck that brand. You know, when you're seeing like these $2,000 boards, I'm sure some of these companies make great $2,000 boards. Is it worth $2,000? Not in my mind, because I'd rather have something I can pull off the shelf that does the same thing in there. But it's like a lot of these small manufacturers, and I've said this so many times before, and people always get angry, they cut corners with their manufacturing process. They don't have the ability to do a higher quality product. So they're using more epoxy. They're not using pre-preg fiberglass in a lot of them. So they're putting down a gallon or two of epoxy into the board. Their factories are kind of dirty. That's just how it is. Like if you look at some of the US ones, they're using Durasurf bases, which I find completely inferior to Isosport. Isosport makes a better base, always has, always will, in my opinion. So there's that. It's kind of hit or miss on that, but yeah, I don't think they're worth the $2,000 price tag, especially if you're doing beer league border cross or you're doing USASA here in the US. Like, I compete in USASA. I bought a $2,500 snowboard. And I'm like, cool, man. It's like being the coolest kid with Down syndrome. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, if you're a top-tier athlete, it makes sense possibly to have something like that. Pray to the altar of snowboarding. Item 9. Hey, Avran, what are some of the best bang for my buck goggle brands to look at? It's not the best bang for your buck. It's when you buy goggles. So like goggles do not age out. So you really want to save money on goggles, buy them in the middle of the summer. They make so many of them, it doesn't matter, even with inflation and shipping issues and supply chain issues. If you buy your goggles non-peak season, you're going to save at least 50%. Because the new graphic is coming out, because they don't do carry forward, which is what they should actually be doing. So for like almost all my dragons, I've pretty much bought them in the middle of the summer from Sun Logic here in Breckenridge on Main Street. I'll get 50 to 80% off depending on which ones I buy. And if you hunt around, you can always find goggle closeouts on Smith, Dragon, Electric, Von Zipper. Now, let's say you really do want some good bang for the buck. Ashberries are actually really good bang for the buck. Dang shades, they're cheaper. I'm not going to deny that, but that's okay. Even like the middle to low end tier Dragons, Electrics, Oakleys, Smiths all work too in that regard. All right, we got David off Black Dynamite. Just a quick one. Day 15 at Big Snow this summer. Get your money's worth out of that season pass. Oof, you lose. Okay. Okay, Alex Camel. Hey, Angry, what's your opinion on the Nidecker Venus, the Merc for women? If you think it's good, what's the best bindings for it? I mean, the Merc isn't a bad board for what it is. I mean, if you just, you kind of, it's like a basic ass snowboard. It's a snowboard that'll do snowboard things. The Venus kind of sits right in there. I would look, so You could get like the K-On women's binding from Nidecker because it's designed to match up to it. Otherwise, probably, what is it? The women, it's not the women's katana. There's one right below the women's katana, and I can't think of the name of it. That's pretty solid. Maybe like a Burton Scribe. You could do like a Ride C6 ladies as well. Yeah. So there's some options for you. Vincent Dew, leather pants on the slopes. I mean, I feel like you're the type of guy, since you live in Germany, that you would ride with just chaps, leather chaps, your ass just hanging out there for everyone to see. You just be like shining it, shimmying it, all that stuff. All right. We got a super chat from Adel. Have you ridden the Arbor, Satori, or Annex? If so, how are they? I've ridden the Satori. I haven't ridden the Annex. I'm not going to have a review of the Satori because I didn't get to ride it on my terms, but I got about 6 laps at Loveland in February on it. It was a good board. It gripped well. I mean, the conditions were kind of shitty, but it's got good pop. I have not been on the Annex. I need to get on Arbor stuff. I need to reach out to them. Just get on some stuff. So, and fire cures all. Let's see. And then we got RB with the PSA. Support the Shred Foundation. Yes. Shredfoundation.org. Our annual Black Friday live streamathon is coming up. It'll be the 4th annual. I think it's the 4th annual. It might be the 5th. I think it's the 4th. And there'll be the 2nd annual Shred Foundation fundraiser. So got a magnitude of boards we're going to be giving away in that, plus Black Friday. I'm going to try to just give away a ton of product on that day for everyone. So it's my way of kind of just giving back to all of you snowboarders of the internet. And remember, spray skiers. Okay, Gunnar Felstel. Is the 155 Ride Peace Seeker enough board for someone 220 plus pounds? Yes. Love the design of the board, but surprised it is so short. I mean, I rode at 200 pounds. I rode the 151. I mean, it rides well. It's the way it's designed. That's what it's for. Don't get too hung up on the fact that it's shorter. It's volume shifted, so you still get the same amount of surface area, just shorter. You know? All right. Will Kelly, what do you think about graphics nowadays? I don't think about graphics. I just don't care. Half the time I look at stuff and I'm like, this looks like fucking ass. Like, here. Nidecker Thruster. Woo, yeah. Black, white, two-tone. Woo, yeah. Ooh, little red on the base. Fucking killer. Woo, yeah. So fucking cool. Peace Seeker. Yeah. Pinstripes. Woo, black base. Yay. Fucking awesome. Who cares? I think graphics are the most fucking pointless thing. Your bindings cover like a quarter of the fucking board. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't really care. I mean, that's my Telos Mike Ranquet. I fucking covered it with vinyl sticker sheet on there because I got sick of people asking me if it was a Craig Kelly mystery air or some kind of Burton. And I was like, yeah, when's the last time you saw a Burton with a 4-hole pattern, people? So I fucking made it look like the vibrator over there with the pink tail and the freaking black tip. Graphics are pointless. All right. Let's see. Charles, fine. How long till you have a link to the Supermatics? September 1st. That's when the review for the Supermatic drops. So September 1st. I actually have to edit that tonight or tomorrow, and I'll schedule it for September 1st. But yeah. All right. Sam Elms, is the Battalion Atom worth the price tag, or would you recommend a different binding in the category for 450 Cleaver, Atlas, etc.? I mean, if you want to pay money, it's stiff. It's worth it. I think there's better out there. I think the Cleaver is better. I think the straps on the Atom are better than the Cleavers, but I think the Cleaver rides better. I think the high back is better on the Cleaver. Atlas is meh. I mean, you could do like the Nitro Machine too, or like the Now O Drive, or even the Drive. So, yeah. All right. Jackson Carney, thoughts on the new public lineup? I wrote it all this year. Other than the statement, which bruised a couple ribs on me because it had the gnarliest edge I've ever taken out of the wrapper and ridden. The Dispute, the Disorder were really, really good. They ride really, really well. You'll actually see some of them popping up in some top 5 videos. Once I finish editing the Nidecker videos, public is the next ones to do. They're super. The boards rode super, super well. I actually really, really dug them for what they were. All right, Shy Links with the super chat. A spin for popping over people in blind spots. Always popping over people. It's the best. Ooh, yes. Beware of posers in positions. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Never mind the Bullocks. Any chance you'll review the Amplid Singular? Yes, I wrote it. So there's a review of that coming. Everyone can just chill the fuck out. I've been getting people emailing me like, I need to know when you're dropping this friggin' review. This is very important. And I'm just like, mark as spam, delete. Like, fucking don't know how much time I can tell people. They're all going to start dropping September 1st. So, yeah. All right. Okay, let's see. What's we got here? Joe Gunn, with the Union Stratotine bindings paired nicely with the Dance Hall Pro for all mountain, or should I go with stiffer bindings? I normally ride Strata with my Hook Knife Pro for part. No, I think you'll be fine with the Stratotine bindings on there for what the Dance Hall Pro is, because it's only 20% stiffer, so it's going to be a marginal stiffness increase. I think you'll be fine with that. All right. Nan Fish Taco, good all mountain jib boards. Been more of a jump guy, but started wakeboarding this summer and starting to enjoy rails and tubes. Want something softer, but still can ride the mountain. 6'3", 220 pounds, 10.5. Because you're coming from a wakeboard background and you're that big, go get yourself a Marhar Lumberjack. Not the Lumberjack X, the regular Lumberjack. 1, it's wide. 2, you can actually wakeboard with it in the summer. I've seen the Marhar guys actually do that. 3, it was designed to be a powder jib board. That's what I designed it for. I think that, and you can ride the whole mountain on it. Go get that at 220 pounds. Get it in a 152. It'll blow your fucking mind. All right. We got a super chat from Patrick Einer. Smash like and keep spraying skiers. Always. Ooh. Avoid the clap. It's the fall. It's almost cuffing season. The snow carnies are starting to move to the mountains. Avoid the clap. And if you do get the clap, remember, fire cures all. And if you're really in a bind, just rub some muscle cheese on it. Right, guys, it normally be blowing out a pair of gloves once a season, knuckle dragger on the ice coast. Yeah, I mean, depending what gloves you're getting. If you're blowing out gloves, go get yourself a set of $20 Kinkos from Lowe's or Home Depot and get some Snow Seal and cake it on there. You'll thank me for it later. Ugh. Ew. I gotta be talking about Never Summer. They suck. Okay. Whew. Plagal Cadence, is the Yes Pick Your Line a good board? What is it for? It's an okay board. Now, if you really want a good version of it, you get the DCP Unink Pick Your Line. It's got a different tip geometry. It's a little wider. It's a little more stable. It's got better pop in it. The Pick Your Line is kind of like that all-mountain free ride board. that you can kind of do everything when you're cruising except for like being more park specific, so it's not an all mountain freestyle board. At the end of the day, it's just a middle of the road board. It never sticks out. Like I rode that and I rode the Pick Your Line Unink back to back, and I would rather have the Unink any day of the week. So MJV14, what do you think of Vail's announcement of limiting the sales of daily lift tickets through all of their resorts next season? It's the same shit they said last fall and the year before that. You can't trust Vail Resorts. It's like farting in the gondola. After you partied all night, you think you're going to fart and then you shart. You can't trust it. You can't trust it. You're going to shit yourself or get shit on. Vail is a lying sack of shit. Like, well, we're going to limit our daily lift tickets. Last year, they set like an all-time record for the amount of people on Breckenridge. I think their maximum occupancy is supposed to be like 22,000, and I think they hit like 40 something. No, don't fucking trust them at all. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep selling and selling and selling and selling and selling until people finally stop buying. Like, no, fuck them. They're not limiting sales. They have a bottom line that they have to meet. They're a publicly traded company. And believe me, their stock's down like $150 a share from its all-time high. But Jim Cramer said it was going to be $1,000 stock. Yeah, fuck Jim Cramer, fucking idiot. No, fuck that. Don't trust him at all. Griffin A. Any comparisons to the Nerd Superposition? Maybe the Ride Berserker Capita Black Snowboard of Death? Haven't heard it. No, those are not even in the same category for that board. That board's closer to like, it's more of a Karua type deck. So that's where it would be, or like a Telos DST, something like that. It's not going to be up there against the Berserker. It's closer, if anything, from Ride, it would be closer to the Peace Seeker, although the Peace Seeker carves more aggressively, rides more aggressively. It'd be like a mellowed out Peace Seeker from Ride. With Capita, it'd probably be closer to a Navigator than a Black Snowboard of Death. All right. Johnny Scott with a super chat. Get your dog some tasty treats. My dog is a spoiled little bitch. Every morning when she wakes up and I let her out of the crate, she gets a duck treat. A treat made out of duck meat. Ugh. Ooh, cold nights. It's true. We are having cold nights. Okay, let's see. We got Jason Nelson. What is a ice ripper? I assume it's something that rips ice. Like to carve hard. Old man chasing his kids down the hill. I ride Minnesota ice. Probably want to look at like something from Jones, Rosenthal, or Mervyn. Give you that magnet traction so you're going to get better grip on the ice. I mean, if you're just straight looking for speed and chasing your kids, I'd get a Storm Wolf. Not the Lone Wolf, the Storm Wolf, because you can rip carves on that thing aggressively. And it grips super, super well for what it is. If you're doing LibTech, you probably could get away with like a GNU Rider's Choice C3. Or, well, that's Mervyn, not LibTech, but you know, you get what I'm saying. But if you're looking at like Lib, maybe you want to go with like, that's a little too much, but maybe like an E-Jack knife, or you could bump up to, what the hell is it? I'm trying to think. You could do a LibTech Retro Ripper, which you're going to turn heads because it's a swallowtail, but that'll do it. But I think like an E-Jack knife, if you're looking at Rosenthal, you probably want to go with like a Juggernaut, even though it's a twin, it's just so stiff. And it's got that magnet traction, you'll be able to rip it. So, okay. Steve K. For Colorado snowboarding from November to March, do you personally wear insulated pants or no insulated pants with a base layer? I don't wear base layers unless it's super, super cold. So that's usually January is when I'll start throwing on base layers. Otherwise, I just wear board shorts underneath. But I do have a mildly insulated pant for it. You just kind of pay attention to where the weather is and how it's coming in, because sometimes you get these like breaks where it gets super warm, and then it'll just overnight it'll go from being like 28 to 32 degrees down to -10 for a solid week straight. Okay, let's see. Anyways, I know we got more people tuning in. If you're just getting here, you got questions, get them in the chat box. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. If you haven't answered the poll, answer the poll. I see we only got 127 votes on that right now. Looks like 65% of you have watched the pant deconstruction video. I know that was a long video. Let me know if you guys would like to see more longer format videos. At 50 minutes, that's possibly one of the longest videos I've ever done. Okay, let's see. Charles E. Fine, winter predictions. There will be snow in some places and not snow in the others. Still kind of early. I think they're saying it's building up to a La Nina year. I got to look into that a little more. I got an email from Open Snow. But like where I'm at, I guess we're kind of on the cusp of it being wetter and colder, which would mean more snow. Or if it comes up from the south, it's going to be warmer and drier. So we might have some times where we're not going to have any snow. They are saying, though, that like March, April is supposed to just hammer the U.S. And I'm really hoping that we get one of those springs to remember where we just get a ton of pow. So, yeah. All right. We got a super chat from Anthony Hawking. 220 pounds, looking at insoles to save my knees on small jumps. Don't really have arch problems. So I'm wondering if I should start with the Destin or get the medic. Go to the medic over the Destin. The Destin doesn't provide any arch support. Like, it's going to be minimal impact. You want to go with like the medic or the Cush instead. That'll give you a little bit more forgiveness from Remind, and it'll be worth it for you in the long run. All right, David Dixon, base grinding worthwhile doing? Yeah. I mean, put some structure in your board's base. It's always a good thing. Austin E., what kind of pow board should I get for my 300 vertical Midwest mountain? Probably a jib stick and some Kinko gloves for riding that rope tow. Jesus Christ. All right. Now we got Adam Rositer with the super chat. Do you know where Public and Dinos are making their boards? Dinos are at Playmaker now, if I remember correctly. But I'm stoned. Thanks, Avran. I think Public is also made over there, or else maybe they're made at Matrix. I know it's China. I know that much. So it's one of those factors. Maybe they're made at Mouse, and I'm not sure on that. I'd have to ask someone, but ouch, lose a turn. All right, Shylinks, new Union STRs coming in hot tomorrow. Thinking of pairing it up with the Outer Space Living, but open to other options. What do you think? I mean, that's a good binding for that board. It's like, it's my first all mountain board, basically, is the way I look at the Outer Space Living. Like, it's a progressing intermediate. And then that STR, you get good bang for the buck for what it actually is. If you're looking at some other boards that I would consider to go along with that, I'd look at the Rome Warden, the Jones Frontier, maybe the Ride Agenda. That should give you a few more options to look at. Let's see. Jackson Carney, looking for a board to complement my Public Dispute for all mountain, mainly ride SoCal, Utah, Mammoth, Brighton. Any suggestions? Was looking at the new Berserker. I mean, if you're looking for more of a free ride board, the Berserker is not a bad option. If you're coming off of that Public Dispute, I'd look at that. Maybe a Jones Flagship. Even, let's see. Oh, you could do like a Libtech E-Jackknife or even Libtech Rasman. The new Travis Rice Pro is actually pretty good too. Can't forget that one. So you got a few options there. Ned Holness. I have a Degenerati Model 1 in 153. I'm very used to how it rides. Would like to step up to something a little longer and stiffer. Any recommendations? Yeah, I mean, so you're coming off that, the Model 1, which I think they morphed that into, what was it, Speed Freak? I feel like somewhere between the Speed Freak and the Warden from Rome. But you want something just a little bit stiffer in there that's still like a directional twin. Maybe look at a Public Disorder, Battalion Jam. You could do like a K2 Broadcast. Maybe a Rosinal Revenant or a Resurgence. GNU Headspace would kind of fit the bill too. So you got a bunch of options. All right, Bubble Skunker, opinions on the copper parking pass. I have one. It's a fucking lifesaver. Love that thing. You don't have to park out in the peasant lot, then schlep through that friggin' unpaved, lumpy manhole or potholed parking lot. Then you got to stand in line with all the goddamn mouth breathers sitting around while their little fuck trophies are screaming and crying and shit. And you schlep your ass up on the friggin' bus. And you got to ride the 10 minutes into whichever village you're going to. And then they're probably stepping on you and some fat lady's going to fall over and hit your bad knee and shit. No, parking pass is great because you can park right at the flyer lift, get right on the chair, or else you're across the street in Beeler. You can go up and park by Woodward Express. You got multitude of options. Basically, the big thing is, what's your time worth? So the 1 year that I had to park out in the peasant lot, 2020, had to park in the fucking peasant lot. I would walk to Super B, but like loading up with my boards and carrying, because I'd carry 2 boards with me at a time, sometimes 3 for testing, and I'd have to go chain them up out there. Like doing that, it was still a 10-minute walk. Or if I had to catch the bus, you're waiting for the bus, you're catching the bus. I figured out that it was costing me about 45 minutes a day of ride time dealing with that. And I'm like, I'd rather ride more. I'll pay $500. But I paid $400 for the pass last year. And I used it 76 days. It was well worth it. So very, very worth it, in my opinion. So, okay. All right. Michael Kulik, Avran, you'd given me the recommendation of the Aviator 2.0 earlier in the year, but was wondering if the Peace Seeker would be better where I ride. Thanks as always. The pant video was awesome. No, you're good, man. Just stick with that Aviator 2.0. I think that's what you want. Okay, we got Trey Boro 01. What would be a good POW board for that heavy Pacific Northwest snow? 5'10", 190 pounds. Thanks, Avran. Libtech Retro Ripper, if you want to go swallowtail, like that thing will push right through it. Otherwise, to an extent, the Rosinal Sashimi works, but you could also bump up to the XV. If you're looking at Amplid, the Snow Malier is really, really good as well. With Ride, I would say that the Mountain Pig, maybe, and if you feel that's too stiff, then you go to the Super Pig. I don't think you want to go with the Peace Seeker just because it's more of a turning board. With Battalion, I would look at like a Surfer or a Camel 2. Not the Camel Toe, but the Camel 2. It's just a little stiffer. It'll push through that crud a little bit easier. So that should give you a few options right there, sir. All right. Ave, I own a black snowboard of death 21 and a ride super pig. I need a twin to have some fun and play around the park. Never did that. I will have to switch my boots and bindings too. Ride in Sanos with the Union Force. Any suggestions? Um, I would just go get yourself like a ride shadow band, directional twin. Be fine. I mean, if you want to go true twin, maybe you want to go with like a zero or a bench warmer from them. Otherwise, you could do the public dispute solid. The K2 medium is another one that comes to mind. The GNU headspace. If that's too stiff, then you bump down to the GNU finest. So there's more than a few options for you. All right, Rodworks. Hi, Avran. After watching your top 5 carving boards, the LibTech Retro Ripper called my attention. Have you tried it on powder? Oh, yeah. Which board is better on the same segment? I mean, if you're looking at carving boards, I mean, realistically, the Retro Ripper, because it's a swallowtail, is going to fucking crush it. It's a little stiff through the middle. If you get into super tight technical trees, you're going to be working it twice as hard. But I really wouldn't worry too much about that because that thing's really meant for wide open pow. Otherwise, rather than looking at the carving boards because you want something that's also good in pow, go look at the Resort Carvy Cruisers and check out the Nerd Superposition instead. I think that's going to give you the perfect blend of pow float and carving capabilities. All right. All right. Joseph Ramos with the super chat. Thanks for calling out the kooks. Fuck backpack speaker guys. Yeah, seriously. What the fuck? These people are the goddamn worst. Ooh, support the Shred Foundation, people. Aaron Stein, liked my KT Thraxis this past season, but like the Burton SLXs, it feels like a more uniform flex. Maybe it's the Speedlays. What do you think about similar nitro boots or similar to above boots you'd recommend? The best boot's the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. Go try on everything you can. That's where I leave that on that. All right, Fruit Poop Loops with a super chat. Pocket bacon. I didn't have time to make any today. Disappointed. Wanted some pocket bacon. Oh, well, you won yourself a jumbo sticker pack, sir. You know the drill. Email me that mailing address, info@angrysnowboarder, and I will get that in the mail. Everyone that's won off the last live streams that's contacted me, your stuff should be in the mail. Like, I dropped it off. I haven't had anything returned, so. Jay Ellis, looking at getting a pair of flows. I'm an advanced beginner, lower intermediate rider. Do you have any recommendations? If you're an all-mountain guy, like, you could get the GT series, or the Fuse GT, whatever it is. But I think it's better to bump up to the NXT series. Just spend the damn time to dial them in before you hit the snow so that you can get in and out of them super, super quick. But if you don't want to deal with having to dial them in as much, you could always go for the Nidecker Supermatics because it's a true step in. And you're in. So, and that would be good for like a progressing beginner, low intermediate rider, that binding too. So, yeah. Turkey Loco, can you please recommend a dedicated pow board? I only have an extra large Warpig, 6'3", 230 pounds, left-handed, red-headed, pigeon-toed, scored pow all last season and need a little more. Mammoth June Brian head. Yeah, okay. So you got the Warpig in the XL. Might be time to bump over to a Mountain Pig instead so you can get that swallowtail in there. Plus, you're a big enough guy that you can get away with the stiffness of that. So that would be where I would go with Rod. Otherwise, I would probably, for your size, look at the Rosinal XV or even a Sashimi. Let's see what else is out there that would be really good. If you're doing Nidecker, you may like the Beta APX. That might be another good one for you. I don't think the Alpha would be what you want, but I think the Beta would work. You can check out the Marhar Sasquatch too. That's another good one. Volume shifted, which you're used to because you're on the Warpig. It's a little more back foot centric. That would be good. You could check out the Telos Backslash or even look at the Caldera too. So you got, I think it's more than 5 options there. Ollie Brown, hi man, I've got a baby on the way. How do I convince my girlfriend that it is absolutely necessary that I go snowboarding this winter? Thanks in advance for your wisdom. You want to snowboard? You're getting her spa days and you're watching the kid. You're paying for that spa day. You're sending her to go get a facial, a massage, maybe a little pedicure, and maybe like a $30 gift card to Chili's or Applebee's afterwards. You're letting her go get away from that kid for a couple hours so you can get away from that kid for a couple hours and go snowboarding. Like, you got to balance that out. And just, you're going to have to suck it up. Sometimes you're not going to get to shred. Sometimes you are. So, yeah. Colton Buchanan, my wife just got back into snowboarding after 22 years. Solid intermediate, no jumps or jibs. I was thinking of women's Stratos. Any recommendations? 5'7", 120 pounds, and married to me. Oof. Okay. Yeah, Stratos would be good. Maybe check out the women's Ravine for her too. Sits in that same category. You could also check out like the what the fuck is it? It's the K2. It's not the Earhart because that's Jones board, but there's K2 Cold Shoulder would be another one to check out too for her. So there's 3 options. Okay. RB, thoughts on a set of ride seats paired with the Jones Mountain Twin? It'll work. You'll get a little more power out of that binding than the flex of that board, but it's not a bad pairing at all. So, yeah. Okay. Milo. Mega Merc versus the Aviator 2.0. Which is better for all mountain? Mega Merc's more well-balanced than the Aviator 2.0. Aviator 2.0 tends to want to just go straight and fast a little bit more than the Mega Merc. Mega Merc, you can slow it down a little bit more, get a little buttery and play with it, whereas the Aviator 2.0, it's like ollie off everything in your path, keep on going. So, yeah. That's kind of where it's at. Okay, so I know we got some more people coming in here. If you're just tuning in, you got questions, get them in that chat box. I'm going to try to answer them wherever it shows up on your device. Super Chat's going to spin of the wheel. So, yeah. Okay. We got Super Chat from Anthony Hawking. Rome Party Mod or Westmark Rocker? I owned 8 Westmark Rockers, and I currently own a Rome Party Mod. You honestly can't go wrong with either. The big thing is ask yourself which camber profile you want, because between them, you've got 3 options. So with the Party Mod, you got your flat to rocker. With the Westmark Rocker, it's center reverse. And then you can always go with Westmark camber if you want a little more pop. I know you're asking about the Westmark Rocker. The big difference between the two of them is that the Westmark Rocker with that grip tech grips right underfoot, but you sacrifice a little bit of the snap out of the tip and the tail compared to the Party Mod, where it's more of a skate-like pop, and it's got those rods in there. Either way, can't go wrong with either of them. Lose a turn. Okay, Johnny Scott. I say LibTech Dynamo. My mate Stewie says K2 Antidote. What do you say? They both sit in the same category. You got to ask yourself what you want. So with the Antidote, you got a little bit of 3D shaping in the nose of that board. So you lose some of the contact bite right out on the nose of that board. It's almost like it has a half a contact point instead of a full one, just because it's got that 3D shaping in there. It does have more snap than the Dynamo, but the Dynamo pushes through snow better. It's a little more of a damp ride, which is nice. It does have magnet traction, so visual tech that will grip on edge, even though the K2 side cut with its multi-radius, if you keep it sharp, is almost as good, if not better, than magnet traction. I'd say flip a coin, figure out what you like. If you like the graphic on one more, go with it that way. Okay. Shylinks with the super chat. Spin for sticker packer, I'm buying. Yeah, you can always buy stickers on angrysnowboarderstore.com. There's a link in the description. Ooh, pray to the altar of snowboarding. All right. Okay, V West, starting to decamber my Rome National from riding so much. Any recommendations for a poppy all-mountain freestyle type of board along the same lines as the National? Yeah, so you could go with the ride algorithm. That's going to like have a lot of snap in it from the carbon in there. If you think that's going to be too much, you go down to the shadow band. You could bump up to the Mod Stale from Rome because it's camber. You're actually going to get more snap out of that than the National has. That's really, really good. Then you might like the Amplit Singular or the Ticket as well. Either of those from Amplit are good. If you're looking at like Capita, I'd say you probably want to go with the Outsiders in that regard, or you could even look at like a Mega Merc or a Super DOA. Like those three right there would kind of give you everything you're looking at. Okay. Dan Rao, what's a good women's board for learning jumps? Wife has a Psycho Candy and a Rome Lo-Fi rocker. Thinking she will max out at medium large jumps. I'd ride that Psycho Candy for hitting jumps just to start on because it's got that wider base to it because it's volume shifted, so it's easier to set down. So it's that's an option for it. Otherwise, you probably want to find something that's a little more camber dominant in there. Maybe the Jones twin sister. It's Cam Rocker. That's going to kind of give you something in there. You can check out K2's lineup. I think it's the Spellcaster. Because it's either the Spellcaster or there's one that's like slightly stiffer than that, and I can't think of it. With Ride, you might be able to get away with putting her on a 0 because it's unisex and it's asymmetrical cam rocker. So that would be cool. And then that gets her off the volume shift of the Psycho Candy back down to like a normal shape thing. Yeah. So, all right. You wanna be fucking stupid? You get put in timeout. All right. All right, we got Craig Cameron. No relation to Kirk Cameron, I hope. Had my Arbor formula for 2 years. Is it time to move on if I want to progress? Yes. You've got to bump up. That board's just too soft for it. It's time to move on and go from there. So, Elvar Carmona, would the Capita Indoor Survival be a good progression from a noodly Sleepwalker? Current Quiver Sleepwalker Party Wave with Rome Vices. Yeah, because you're going to go from that Sleepwalker that has, what is that? It's got like that Camber 2.0 with like the rocker in the tip and the tail, and it's a little softer in there. The Indoor Survival is more like your traditional Camber directional twin. It's going to give you more snap and pop. So I think that's really going to work for you. Okay. Z22, what would be your 3-board quiver for tow rope, first chair, last chair, hard charger with freestyle flare, off-piece board with good pow float? Thank you, sir. Endeavor archetype, that's my pow board right there. I'll even ride the park with that damn thing. I don't give a shit. Swallowtails don't scare me on a rail. But yeah, then for the hard charger, first chair, last one, I'd probably go with the Nerd Superposition. That way I can carve. And then for rope toes, I'm going with the Rome Party Mod. So, yeah. All right. Fruit Poop Loops. Is that Snowboard Addiction jib trainer worth it, or are there better ways to practice jibbing during the off season? I mean, if you're on a budget, here's what you're going to go do. Go down to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and go get a 4-foot 2x4. Get 2 of them. Screw them in. Get a set of PVC. Drill a hole in it. Put it through. Screw in through the inside. A screw that fits through that hole. 3 of them on there. And then you put it, and then you get a little, probably about a 12-inch section of 2x4. Put it underneath those 2 ones. And then there's your feet. There's your jib trainer right there. Boom. That's all you need to know. Right? You're solid. Saves you everything you need to know. It'll save you so much money. You're not going to have to go spend $115 for basically a rubberized curbstone. I mean, if you're really industrious, go find a Chick-fil-A or something that has a brand new parking lot and they've got those curbstones. Load one up on a Sunday when they're closed because, you know, they're evil. And throw it in the back of your truck. Rhino line it. There you go. You got a little thing for practicing on. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got CN. Heard great things on the Mega Merc. Wrote it and don't like it. Like the Super DOA and Stratus way better. Don't know why. Any ideas why? I mean, Super DOA and the Mega Merc have some serious overlap in it, but with the big difference is just in that core construction and the side cut a little bit. Sounds like you like something that's more like a true twin. Like the Stratus is really just a mountain twin with a different shape. It's softer flexing than the Mega Merc too. That's probably what you're feeling is the torsional flex more than anything. All right. Let's see. Looking for some questions. Okay. Let's see. Never mind the bullocks. Wife learned on the K2 First Light, 5'5", 190 pounds. Thinking a volume shifted board for stability and powder. Would the Psycho Candy be a fit? Hell yeah, it would. That's a solid one. You could do that. You could even put her on a War Pig, although that would be stiffer than the Psycho Candy, so I don't know if you want to do that, but yeah. Okay. Packet of cereal. Hey, Avran, is the K2 instrument really that volume shifted as they say, or just feel like a mid-wide? How do you compare and feel about it to the Ravine? It's softer than the Ravine. Torsionally, just overall, it's a little softer than the Ravine. The Ravine has better snap in it, in my opinion. You get more rebound out of it. It is volume shifted. It's a medium volume shift, as I call it. Like 8 centimeters, kind of overkill, but like 4 to 6 centimeters smaller than what you normally ride. Yeah, it's about right. Okay. Andy McElroy with the super chat. Gremlin, Pyre, or Excavator? Hamilton Cash because I've been freeloading for months. Okay, so this is the way I would look at it. You want a damp ride that's good at carving, going to grip and have a lot of power out of the tail? Gremlin. You want a board that's going to have okay grip and carve. You're going to be able to carve with it when the snow is soft. It's going to have good pow float, but not be as domineering as the Gremlin. Excavator. Pyre, having rewrote them now that they moved factories, it's okay. It's got good grip underfoot just from those contact points being bumped out. In there, it's kind of the middle ground between an Excavator and a Gremlin. It's like width-wise closer to a Gremlin, but overall ride closer to an Excavator. So, yeah. And let's give you a spin. Fire cures all. Okay, this is a good one from Anthony Hawking. How much does preference inform the review process? Do you find boards that you know are objectively good that you just don't enjoy riding? So there's a whole reason. If you watch the video, it goes carving, who the board's for, and then I give my personal opinions on it. That's the section where you can tell if I liked it or not. Because there'll be stuff where I'm like, hey, it carved well, it did this, it did this, it did this. And then you get there and I'm like, I fucking don't care for this board. It's just middle of the pack or whatever it is that I'm saying. In there, there's a lot of good boards out there that I just don't really give two shits about. Like I'll ride it and be like, yeah, it's a snowboard. Does snowboard things. But there's people that are going to be like, I swear by it, it's the greatest thing ever. I've owned 3 snowboards in my life. And I'm like, cool, good for you, buddy. You know, you're probably the same guy that's been fucking the same chick since you were 16. That's going to end in divorce when you're like 50. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, there is personal preference. There always is. There's bias in any review from anyone in there. Like, I have certain preferences that I like out of my boards, and it kind of changes year to year based on what my health's going on, what the snow's doing, whatnot, stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. But you try to, the way I look at it is, who is this board for? Like, every time I ride it, who is it for? So I can look at it and go, okay, this person's going to enjoy it. This. Like, I recommend stuff that I would be like, I would never fucking ride that. It's not for me. But there's people that it is for. And I don't have a problem with that. All right. Tibby TT, what are the differences between the Rome Service Dog and Stale Cruiser? Carbon layup, core construction. They basically share the same shaping and camber profile. It's really coming down to that core construction, which changes the flex, the carbon rods in there, and the flax impact plates being added to the Stale. Or wait, I'm thinking of Stalefish, Stale Cruiser, and Service Dog. Sorry, my bad. So Service Dog's more volume shifted. It's wider than the Stale Cruiser. In there, the Stale Cruiser actually has more of a tail. You can ride switch on it a lot easier now that I think about it. Relatively, they have similar feeling flexes, but in my opinion, you get better pop out of the Service Dog because of the width when you're riding it directional and you're like riding in POW. But with the Stale Cruiser, I find it better like on a roller or off of a jump. It's a little more freestyle focused. Sorry, confused it with the stale fish. My bad. Okay. B Kings. Hi, Avran. Is there a significant difference when sizing up on a board size, for example, a 152 to a 56? Yeah, so you're going to get about that much more length out of it. That changes the effective edge. It changes where the contact bite is. Also, when you bump up in sizes, it changes the sweet spot and the flex pattern in there. It can change like how when you load the camber profile, how that engages and whatnot. I mean, when you're talking of like 1 to 2 centimeters, there's not much difference. When you start to get to 4 to 6 centimeters, you can notice there's a little bit of a difference. Most people will just be like, they'll just deal with it and not realize it, which is fine in there. But, you know, the big thing is like you got to look at how that side cut's going to engage with it being further out with the contact point at the tip of the tail from where you're initiating it right underfoot. Okay. Cameron Wilhelm, favorite music to listen to while shredding? Synthwave. All about the synthwave. Sometimes dark synthwave, maybe industrial synthwave, goth wave. Soviet wave is pretty good too as well. But yeah, if you guys really want to know what I listen to, I don't do Spotify anymore. I got really pissed off at it. It's too much fucking work. My Pandora is better. But Mitch Murder Radio or Dance with the Dead Radio on Pandora. That'll give you an idea. Or if you're on YouTube and you want to see something, look up the Prime Thanatos retro wave, and he's got a live stream that's been going for like a couple weeks now, and that's I listen to that or New Retro Wave Radio. So with the last smack to the head, I can't listen to metal as much because it gives me a ringing in the ear. This kind of hires it. So yeah, and I see someone saying Gunship. Yeah, Gunship's awesome. So yeah. For our good friend Grieve Josette, is the Union Legacy Women's Strata a good binding match for the Ride Psycho Candy? Should I go with something stiffer? Thanks. Personal preference on that, but I think the Legacy would match up fine on the Psycho Candy. If you're looking for something from another brand, check out the Ride CL6, which is the ladies' C6. that would match up with it as well, since you're doing all mountain use. Okay. Sakotas. I bought a Ride Berserker last year. Like you said, you have to put into it what you get out of it. Can you recommend a board that is similar in terms of holding an edge but more forgiving? Bump yourself down from the Berserker to like an algorithm and look at the carbon layup in that. If you think that's going to be too much, then maybe you would go with a shadow band, which would be even easier to engage. And then that way it gives you that same feel of a ride. You got that same consistency going on, but you won't have to put so much into it. Also, to an extent, this year's Black Snowboard of Death is a little easier to engage than the Berserker, but it would be more of a lateral move, I think, from where you're coming from on that. You might also like the GNU 4x4. It'll be a little more damp, and when the C3 camber profile breaks in, which takes about 10 days of riding, you'll notice right away that it's easier to engage than when you first got it, and it will be an easier ride than your Berserker. All right. Okay. Fruit Poop Loops. Bring back Slim Whitman from the dead. I didn't kill him. I don't know where he went. It's been a great summer without him. Who knows where Slimothy Whitman is? Probably overdosed eating muscle cheese. Ooh, good question from our boys over at Nerd Snowboards here. Avran, favorite flavor of Jarritos? I like the lime. But you can't go wrong with the mandarin either. They're both really, really good. But I'm a big fan of the lime. It's fun stuff. Also, if you guys haven't checked out Nerd Snowboards, you're looking for something a little different from a smaller company. They have two models. They have the Superposition, one of my favorite boards for this year. It's been on my underhyped list. It was on the #1 for the Resort Cruisy Carvers. They have a small size and a 151 coming in later this fall, but you can get it in a 57 or a 160. Basically, directional shape, good camber to it. It's got a urethane sidewall, good dampening on it. If you're looking for something volume shifted, that's where the Relic comes in. Comes in a 151. They do have a bigger size coming in the 156, which is for a volume shifted board. I do recommend for heavier riders that you would probably actually bump up. Like at 200 pounds, the 51 was just a little too soft in the nose for me. That's where the 56 would do that. But you should definitely check them out, nerdsnowboards.com. Ooh. Okay. Anthony Hocking, looking at some of the death traps that pass as snowboards on Amazon, it's amazing there haven't been lawsuits. Literal planks of wood with canvas foot straps. Probably a content gold. Oh, I've dug through. I know what's on Amazon. I'm always looking at that shit. Believe me. Those like backyard snowboards that'll kill you. So, yeah. All right. We got Tyler H. What are your favorite local shops in Eagle Summit County? So if we're in Eagle, it's Transition Board Shop in Avon, right there in the center plaza by the gondola. Those guys are really good dudes. You can always swing over to Buzz's Boards too and go see my boy DP, the VP of the Ravinos. Shout out to him. He's a good dude. I would go to either of those shops, otherwise a Christie Sports, because I've got friends over there that work there. When we're in Summit County, if we're at Copper, it's Gravity. If we're in Breckenridge, it is the Underground. But I also do like the guys over at Powder Tools at Dillon Ridge, so which is the Christie Sports location. And sometimes I like to swing into Mountain Sports Outlet just to heckle Kevin on Wednesdays, because he works there on Wednesdays, only Wednesdays. I mean, it's owned by Vail, so I don't try to give him money, but I like to go heckle Kevin on Wednesdays. So, okay. Sam Elms, is high back rotation underrated or overrated? Overrated. I haven't rotated a high back since 1999. And I remember distinctly rotating it back New Year's Day 2000. I was like, what the fuck am I thinking? Because, like, I don't understand. So let's say you're riding with the duck stance like this, right? So now you're going to rotate your high back so it's flat with that back edge. So your foot's like this and it's like this. You're not, when it's like this, you're putting all that power right into the high back. When it's like this, you're only putting on the outside of the high back. You're losing power transmission, people. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah. Okay. Ave, I know you probably like more than dozens of boards, but do you have one or two that was and still is my favorite one, my best one? I've got a K2 Travis Parker Scorpicus Nauticus sitting under my bed in the other room. It's layered with stickers and wax. I bought it when I first moved west. That thing, I think it's from 03 maybe. It's like a 24.7 waist on the 159. That thing, and it's just straight camber. I might break that out this year, actually. I haven't ridden it. I have to clean it. Ugh. But that one is one of my favorite boards that I'll never get rid of. I've held on to that forever. I really like that. I like the first year Cool Bean. I'm kind of sad that I have to retire mine. I rode that thing for so long in a 144. It's upsetting. I do miss the Atomic Hatchet, especially the 156.5. That thing was just phenomenal. It was such a good, for $299, that board was just banger for what it was. I actually have my K2 jib pan sitting over here. I've took an angle grinder to it and cut it up, but the jib pan was always, especially before they went to the jib pan rocker, when it was just the jib pan camber, like the first 3 years, it was super, super solid. I really loved that board a lot. I would take another one of those in a heartbeat in a 156. If anyone sees it, let me know. David Dixon, best shop to find the boot that fits my foot and fits my needs at Copper near Summit County. Well, Copper is in Summit County. So if you're at Copper, your two options are going to be Gravity and Center Village, or you're going to have to go over to East Village to Christie Sports. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to shoot over to Dillon, to the Christie Sports there. They have a better selection, in my opinion. Mountain Sports Outlet has a big selection. Underground doesn't have everything in right now in Breckenridge, but you can check them, and you might find some stuff at Mountain Wave. I'm not sure. I haven't been in there in a while. So, yeah. Joseph Ramos with the Super Chat. Watch the Stevens review vid. When were you here in Washington? You know of a good shop dad structured in my Karuas? What was that? 05, 06? When I was there? 04, 05? Sometime around 05, I think. Might have been 04. So 04 or 05. I don't know. Fucking that was not a good point in my life. A lot of regrets about living up there. Oh. So as far as adding structure, where is it? There's shit. I can't think. There's a shop, because one of the guys, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so you're going to have to go up to Bellingham, and I would go to Boardworks Tech Shop. They're closed on Mondays. 1215 Railroad Ave, Bellingham, Washington. But from what I've seen from those guys, they really, really fucking know what they're doing up there. So I would definitely trust them. Although I do know that C3, so Capital Union Coal, down in Ballard, they have the C3 shop, and they do tune work out of there too. So I would talk to them, because my guess is, with how crazy the tunes are on like the Mega Merc and Super DOA, that their tune shop down there in Ballard they're on the waterfront, would be someone that I would talk to, because I think that they have the capabilities to do that for you. So yeah. Okay. Joe Gunn, do you get a better kickback from Evo or the house using your links? Evo 8%, the house is only 4%. So yeah, for anyone that's buying online or you click any of the links, I get a commission, just so you guys know. I'm not trying to hide that. All right. Chu Cheng, hey Avran, 5'6" to 5'7". You're one or the other. You're not both. 190, size 7 boot rider here. You did a review for the S Dicey and rode the 52. The 52 maxes out at a 150 in the weight. Should I go 152, 54, or 56 for all mountain freestyle? So realistically, like, they gave me the 52 because that's just what they had available. I would have taken a 54 in that personally for park riding, just because 54 is my park size. You're looking for all mountain freestyle at 190. I'd probably bump up to the 56 in that. Colm Buchanan, should I get structure on my 64 Nidecker Ultralight or my 158 Cabin Mountain Tools Peregrine? The Peregrine should have structure in it. Should have came with it. Same thing with the Ultralight. They both should have had structure in it. Run your finger across the base and see if you feel any grooves with your fingernail. If you do, it's got structure. They should have came with it. Oh, item 9. Thoughts on how the new Slush Slasher rides compared to the older models? RIP to the Slush Slasher. It's not fun. That new one with the camber, they narrowed it up. It just rides so different. It was not the same. Like, it's more aggressive. It's less laid back. It's less playful. It just wasn't what I was thinking. So yeah. Oh, also, what? Yeah, I think I owe Joseph a spin. So, jumbo sticker pack for our boy Joseph Ramos. Hit me up, info@angrysnowboarder.com. Make sure you put your mailing address in there, and you won yourself a jumbo sticker pack, and I'll get that in the mail this weekend. So, okay. All right, James Osborne, great videos. Any recommendations for wide or extra wide boards? LibTech makes extra wide boards. Nidecker makes ultra wide boards. Ride makes some super wide boards. Then if you go into volume shifted boards and you look at some of the bigger sizes, they also get super wide. So there you go. Evan Woolley, do your affiliate links work for when purchasing any product or only snowboard gear? You click it and then you go and buy a mountain bike, I'll still get goddamn credit for that. So yeah. All right. Martin Ponov. Last year I got Nitro Team board that came with the Union Falcor bindings. I'm switching to stiffer boots this year. Got the Thraxis. Do you recommend changing the bindings for the setup? Thanks. No, I think you're fine. I think you're good with that. It's really personal preference. If you want to do it, go do it. Otherwise, I really wouldn't worry about it. All right. So if you got questions, you're just tuning in, and get them in the chat box. I'm going to try to answer them. I'm not sticking around much longer. I got to take the dog out and try to do some work tonight. I have 50 snowboard reviews left to edit, or 50 reviews total left to edit. Only 27 more board reviews left to edit. So I'm trying to get stuff done by September 1st. So I want to get that done. Okay. We got Tanky looking at the Capita Black Snowboard to Death. 220 pounds, size 10.5, riding Colorado snow. What size wood should I pick up? At 220, you probably want it. What is it? Is it 61 or 62? And then there's like 63 wide. The 10.5, ask yourself if you want more stability. If you do, then I would go to a wide model, because you're right on that cusp with that 10.5. That's going to give you a little bit more stability. But I think you ideally want like that 61 to 63. I think the 65 would be too aggressive for you. I think that would just be too long with how light the snow is in the state here. All right, Charles E. Fine. Any new gear coming from Angry? I'll probably add something at some point. I don't know what's going on angrysnowboarderstore.com. So yeah. All right, we got Jason Alba with the super chat. Keep up the good work, sir. I don't know. If you read some of my critics, clearly they hate me, but they're probably too busy smoking that vegan vape juice. But let's see. What was the fun one that I got this week? Oh, this was on the Amazon goggle one, and if you follow me on Instagram, you saw this. But it was clean up your language. Your info is probably good, but you're so foul I can't stomach listening to you. Suck a fart, bitch. I swear like a goddamn drunken sailor. I do it in front of my 2-year-old nephew. Pretty sure I've taught him more swear words than anyone else. Also, kind of explained to him when you can only say that. So that one was good. Then there was, where's the one today? There was one today on the pant deconstruction video that was hilarious too. It was like, what was it? How is this guy still a thing or something like that? I was like, oh, yeah, really? Longevity, buddy. But yeah, the haters, I've been getting a bunch of them lately. It's been great. So let's see, where is that? Trying to find it. So many comments today. It was a big day. Oh yeah, from a guy named Shady05091. Not sure how this dude is still a thing. That was funny. I also like that people brought up that I had to buy dope snow today. Fucking still not regretting that. Can't get myself clean enough. Probably have to drink some base cleaner after that. So, oh, we got a spam bot in here. That's fun. Let's see what we can do here. Boop. Hide user on channel. There we go. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Anyways, got them out of there. Luc Desagnier, what's the one that got away? Mine's the Lamar Mike rank with the pool table on the top sheet. I don't have any that got away because I just really don't give a shit. Like, there's stuff I wouldn't mind picking up if I saw it, but I'm not hunting. I'm not a collector. I really don't care. Like, some of these guys that are like so gung-ho about only riding old shit and they keep talking about how great it fucking is. And I'm like, one, I don't think you were snowboarding back then and you don't realize how shitty those boards were back then. And two, I'm like I don't get when I see people riding ancient ass bindings that like the plastic is chalky white and I'm just like, I don't, more power to you, man. But like, I like classic cars, but I also like resto mods, you know. All right, we got Fruit Poop Loops with the super chat. Give you a big one. Avoid the clap. Jimmy Dugan. Words to live by, kid. S2000 guy, do you have some kind of tally system or something like a spreadsheet for reviewing a board? For example, do you know which one will be in contention for a top 5 video the day you ride it? I have a brain and everything sits up there. Sometimes I'll go back and be like, I'll be thinking about it and I'll be like, What I have is I have a notebook. And so I'll be like top 5 all mountain, free ride, freestyle, park boards, carving boards. And when I ride something that I'm like, hey, this stands out, I write it in that list and it sits there. And then I kind of forget about it through the middle of the summer. And then when I'm like going through reviews and I start working on top 5s for the fall, then I'm like, oh yeah, time to go back, update that, do this, do that. Ugh. Okay. Herbert Marmiton, dump before you jump. Any fave of fiber foods for snowboard season? Hip surgery went good. Bruising is gnarly. Say hi to the pupper. I usually just do fruit smoothies with a lot of strawberries and different berries and stuff like that. I don't like go out of my way to just eat fiber. Sorry. It's just kind of how I do. So, yeah. All right. Joe Gunn, I got a new 2017 DC Media Blitz on Amazon for $120. After your review on the board, I had to get it for nostalgia. Might take it out of the wrapper and try it this season. Fuck that thing. Fuck that board. Fucking hate that thing. That board sucks so much. So fucking stiff. All right. Lobo Mob, what's better to ride for park? The Nitro Beast, the T1, or the Optisim? Fuck the Optisim. I fucking hate that board. That board is like so mismarketed, and its flex pattern is so fucking wonky on it. It rides like shit. Fuck that. Fuck that board. Now, between the T1 and the Beast, if you're more of a big jump guy hitting big features, you're going to want the Beast through and through. But if you're looking for like an everyman, easy to ride park board, that's the T1 for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I got. But if you got any final questions, get them in now because we're kind of slowing down. I'm going to end the poll here. We're going to see where we're at for the day. All right, for the pant deconstruction poll, let's see. So how many of you watched the pant deconstruction video? Out of 217 votes, we got 59% of you with yes, 40 with no. What's that 1%? Where'd that 1% go? Where'd it go? All right, we got Sean P. with a question. Would a Capita Merc be a good upgrade from the Solomon Pulse? 200 pounds, size 10 boot, riding a 56 Pulse. It's a great accepted speed. I've noticed it gets a little loose. I want to keep it as a rock board. I mean, if you're coming off of the Pulse, which is a beginner board, going to the Capita Mercury will probably kill you. Unless you're talking about going to the Flow or to the Nidecker Merc. Got to be a little more specific with what brand you're doing. Now, if you're going to the Flow Merc, or the Nidecker Merc, you're totally fine. But if you're going to the Capita Mercury, you're probably going to die. It's just like a bit of an aggressive upgrade there, bud. So, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, okay. You're talking about Capita. Yeah, it's too much of an upgrade coming off that Pulse. You want something in that middle ground, so you'd be looking at like an outer space living or an indoor survival. The indoor survival has camber, which I think would be better move just to learn to get that. So, yeah. Free Poop Loop saw a post on Reddit. Beginner, ride 2 days, can carve. /snowboarding. Land of the dumb fuck. The goddamn troglodytes. I love it when one of those dumb fucks that thinks they're a gear expert ends up finding me and leaves a comment because they usually get pissed off and want to pick a fight. And by the time I'm done just utterly shitting all over them, they're just like, you're a fucking asshole and I don't want to snowboard anymore. Good. Get the fuck out of here, you person that snowboards. We're making snowboarders. Ugh. 4x4 therapy. Building a structure in your board. Apart from better glide, does it offer any better benefits? Watching a YouTube clip the other day, and they were saying it helped turns. It's not that it necessarily helps turns. It's that it's breaking up any of that suction when you're turning so that it's more fluid. So the fluid dynamic of it, because you're gliding on that thin layer of water that you create from the friction, that's really what it is. I mean, realistically, if they're carving, what's really helping them is if they tuned their edges or not. So, yeah. Tyler H. Does Elevated Surfcraft make good boards, or is it just marketing hype? The whole company's fucking marketing hype. They're actually made at a good factory, but the owner of the company, Aaron, is a fucking kook. He's a trust fund fucking kook. I love the fact that he literally tried to claim that he brought volume shifted snowboards from Japan and that he created this whole thing, and he was taking credit for a whole bunch of shit, just spewing out his ass. It's like, go back to New York City and live off your dad, you dumb fuck. I'm a vagrant. Fucking, look at me. I'm like the fucking kid that died in Into the Wild, whatever the fuck his name was. I fucking burned my fucking social security card. Fucking can't think of the kid's name. I read that book too. But yeah, that's when he thinks he's like some kind of little tramp going around with his dog. His dog's a piece of shit too. Fucking hate that dog. It's evil. And but yeah, like fuck that brand. Fucking kook. Yeah, Chris McCandless. There we go. Alexander Supertramp. That's the name that he went by after he destroyed his social security card. All right. DR, I know your stance on the right boot being the one that fits your foot. For those of us with no decent snowboard shop in any near vicinity to try things out, Vegas, do you have advice? If you're in Vegas, you can make it to Salt. You can make it to Utah. If you can make it to Utah, you can go to Milo Sport or one of the Christie Sports out there, or even the Burton store in Park City. Those guys are pretty good. You can definitely check that out. Or if you're in Vegas, you can shoot over to Bear. You can go check out Bauer in Big Bear, or even Big Bear Boards, and see what they've got and do it. Just remember, ask. The more questions you ask, and the more you spend time actually trying on the boot, and you're not just looking for like toe to heel fit with, you want your big toe just touching the end of the liner when you're flat footed, and when you bend your knee over the toe, you want it to pull back. But also when you're in the boot, you want to make sure when your heel's locked down that your toes aren't slapping side to side, so that the boot is moving all as one. Spend time in it. It's not one of those things you're going to put on a pair of boots and be in it for 5 minutes and be like, that's it, I'm good. I mean, that's literally, there's 20% of the population that could probably do that. And even then, out of that 20%, I'd say that like 18% of that's just people that snowboard 3 days a year, so they just don't give a fuck. Realistically, you got to spend time in your boot and figure out what works for you. And then when you find a boot that works for you, don't fucking change it. Keep that consistency. If you get a new pair of boots every year, buy the same fucking boot year over year. Then you don't have to worry about any of these wild card situations going on where shit gets weird. Okay. Right. All right. Listen closely. Are Endeavor boards good or Chinese-made crap? I'm looking at the Endeavor archetype. I've owned 2 Endeavor archetypes for my personal board. That's all you need to know. If I will choose a board for it, it is solid. Okay. Jonathan Dardo. Avran, what do you do in the summer to keep active? I know a lot of us skateboard, personally, a mountain bike. Any other expensive hobby, though, left in my ass stuff? About to go to Colorado and Utah for a trip. I don't do shit in the summer. I actually had this conversation with a person that snowboards last week after the live stream. Funny that I dedicated a whole live stream to snowboarders versus people that snowboard, and then I had to go chat to a person that snowboards. I didn't even chat. I let him just bark shit about snowboarding at me until he pissed me off, and I put him in his place. But he asked me the same question. He's like, what do you do in the summer? And I was like, nothing. He's like, you don't mountain bike? Nope. Oh, you don't hike? Nope. Oh, you don't take your dog and do this? Nope. 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 I play fucking video games. I go to the gym, and that's it. And I edit videos, and I rest. I read. I watch movies. I catch up on stuff. I just veg out for a solid 3 months. It's fucking absolutely amazing for me. I love it. Ugh. Yeah, this guy last week, fucking person that snowboards. Well, my friend's girlfriend said they'd read that article in Bloomberg about Burton being for sale, and she said, "Oh, isn't Burton one of the OGs?" And before I could say anything, the guy was like, "Forum is actually the OG snowboard company, but Burton bought him and put him out." And I was like, "The fuck you say?" I was like, "Really? So Forum's older than Burton?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, 1977 seems to come before 1995, 96. On top of the fact, Forum used to be Rev Snowboards. So I laid down all this knowledge, and he's like, "Well, I only own Burton stuff." And I was like, "I bet you fucking do, dude. I bet you don't know shit about snowboards." And then he tried to tell me that he watches online snowboard reviews, and he mentioned people that haven't done reviews in like 4 years. And I was just like, I want to fucking kill myself right now. So it was funny. So like I excused myself, leave, and later that night I run into my friend. He's outside his house, and he's like, "Oh, what'd you think of that guy?" He's like, "He's a fucking putz." He's like, "Well, he owns his house here." And I was like, "I don't give a fuck what he owns. He's still a fucking moron. Fuck. Fucking goddamn fucking idiots." Like, ugh. All right. All right. Adam Rossiter, you know anything about Jason Braz as a human? He's been in the game a while, owns Fix, doesn't just own Fix. He owns Fix, Ashbury, and Known Manufacturing up there in is it Pemberton? That's the one right before you get to Whistler. It begins with a P. I think it's Pemberton. I can't remember, but it's right before you get to Whistler. Anyways, I know you're not looking for any juicy gossip. So Jason designed boards for Endeavor. He worked at Option. He's designed boards for Stepchild. I think he actually redesigned the public boards too. Guy knows what the fuck he's doing. He's the way he described what he's doing with Fix and Ashbury and known manufacturing is he wants to be the C3 of Canada. So, you know, binding company, board company, goggle company instead of a hat company, but he's working on that. I really want to ride some of those known boards from him, and we've tried. It's just hit or miss. I've ridden some of the earlier Fix bindings, and I gave him feedback, and I was like, I think you just need to make smaller trays. So he did make them. He made the base trays smaller and stuff. He's really open to feedback. I think he's a good dude. Like, I like talking to him when I talk to him. You know, we got a lot of mutual friends and stuff. So yeah. All right. We got Brandon with the super chat. Best white ribbon of death board. Oh, I got your white ribbon of death board right here. If you're gonna ride the right ribbon of death, you got to ride the shark bite. Yeah, you like that? Talk about a loss of effective edge and edge bite. This thing, no one will fuck with you in the lift line when you have this thing strapped to you. Everyone's scared to get their board near it. This just screams zero fucks. I will kill you, and I don't care. I love riding this thing on the white ribbon of death. It's my favorite board for that. People are like, "Oh God, what is that thing? What happened to you?" And I was like, "Snow shark came up and just bit me. Fucking took it out, man. I was just paddling in and just fucking got me." All right, Brandon, won yourself a jumbo sticker pack. All you got to do is email me info@angrysnowboarder with your mailing address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. So yeah. All right. Tyler Kim, favorite mountain in the Salt Lake City area. If we're talking like directly there, Brighton. That's a snowboarder's mountain through and through. But if you go a little bit further out, it's Powder Mountain. It's my favorite mountain in Utah. So, Fruit Poop Loops, does shifting the binding disc to center the binding change the ride? Well, you're centering the boot, as long as you got equal toe and heel overhang and you're centered on there, that can do it. Like, I've seen people that just put it on and it's like they got like 6 inches of toe overhang and no heel, or vice versa in there. And then if you're talking about like centering it on a directional twin, no, it won't. But if you're centering it on a true directional board, yes, it changes the flex patterns and stuff. So there's a bunch of different options there. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? Am I missing something? No, let's see. Coleman Young, what headphones do you use for music on the mountains? I use the Apple earbuds. They fit perfectly for me, and I don't have to fuck around with it. I like having a plug. I don't like Bluetooth. All right. Anthony Hawking, spin for jumbo sticker pack. We're going for it. Remember to subscribe. All right. So, anyways. All right, guys. So I think we're going to call it a day. I've been here an hour and a half. This is it's been fun. Hopefully you've checked out the pant deconstruction video. If you haven't, there's a link down in the description. Also, don't forget about the cultural mystery link of the week down in the description. Some of you might actually enjoy that if you're over the age of 35. So, yeah. Anyways. So we got that. But if you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for you. And if you want to support us so I can do more pant deconstruction video type things or others, you can always swing over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. There's a link in the description. I've got a video over there that explains it. It's a little old. I'm going to change that soon. But anyways, yeah. And tomorrow we got a Signal review dropping. I think it's the Tail Gunner review drops tomorrow. So why don't you guys... check that out tomorrow. Anyways, I'll see you in another video.